And another man with a fast finish. He showed that last week. This is the time where we're going to start to see attacks from guys who feel they're strong enough to go at 20 kilometres out.
Yes, but there'll be a lot of tired legs. And Sky towards the front. I think that's Kwiatkowski towards the front, just to his right-hand side. You can see Nibali, and looks like Gatto up there for Tinkoff. So the players, the favourites, have started to show their colours now and come up towards the front. And this group is whittling down all the time.
Racecraft, moments, choosing the moments to go. It's been made ever so slightly different than in the last couple of years. We do have race radios back. Do you think that would have been a factor early on, as we see Kwiatkowski having a go now? Gatto's going to follow him, and this is Buchwalter, the race exploding behind these two guys up the front. Well, it was two, it's now one. Brambilla leaving Buchwalter behind. It's Brambilla versus the world right now.
And yet again, another problem for Team Sky, losing one of their riders because of mechanical. But yeah, Brambilla has done a tremendous amount of work and hard work for his team.
And it's Puccio again. Poor old Puccio. He spent more time today waiting on the side of the road than actually being in the race. So unlucky, and he's obviously strong, because each time he's recovered, he's got himself back in the group and he's been able to contribute. This time, I'm afraid, is probably going to be the last time. There's Rod Ellingworth on the side of the road helping him out, and Puccio, I'm afraid, has no power to take it to the end today.
No, it's just unfortunate. It's one of the races. You need a little bit of luck sometimes, but this man is doing, or taking one for the team. Can he hang on himself? Well, you never know. He's got some good form. He's got some good riders, teammates behind him. So if they just follow the moves, then why not?
Well, he's a great late-stage attacker, even though he hasn't been taking too many wins since he's been at Quick Step. He took the first one in Mallorca. He's always been thereabouts. We've seen him attacking towards the end of Giro stages in the last few years. He's a guy who, by the nature of how he is as a body composition, his characteristics as a rider, and the fact that he loves to attack, he's a guy that should love the late spring, isn't he?
Yeah, he could do, but he's loving this race today, especially the last few kilometres. He's kind of hanging in there with about 15-20 seconds, but hopefully we'll get down there to this whittle group of about no more than 20 riders now. But when you get a smaller group, who's left to chase? Where are your teammates? So, the favourites just have to commit themselves, because if they look behind them, the teammates are already gone. Because I think that Valverde will pretty much be on his own, but you can just see the Ethics riders. Nibali is trying. He knows he's in a situation. He wants to start racing, but every time there's an attack, there's an Ethics rider straight onto the wheel.
Tischbenot towards the back, Zdeněk Štýbar towards the back, as is Peter Sagan, as is Diego Lisi. Some big names still in there, hanging on, waiting. In the meantime, other big names attacking out the front, and it's a case, the guys who saw at the back there are the sort of guys who can afford to wait, who can afford to hang on. The guys at the front, as you suggested, knowing that it's time to make the race and make something happen for themselves.
The thing is, Ethics, this man just has to put his head down and go. 20 kilometres to go now. He's got teammates jumping up over everything at the back, and Nibali just had a go there and straight on with these Ethics teammates. So, if they want to win this race, Os has to take it on, but Os will have to use up all his energy to try and hold off, hold the rider in front, Brambilla, off, and all the time Ethics have numbers and they're just jumping on everything that's going.
Inside 20 kilometres to go, and the 10th edition of Strade Bianche. It's already a living monument without being a cycling monument in cycling terms. It's a brilliant race, and how many races just a decade old deserve to be seen as an iconic part of this sport? If there are any at all, it's certainly a candidate here. Brambilla riding off 14 seconds. He's approaching the penultimate dirt road section. It's sector 8, it's 2.5 kilometres long, gradients of 15% right at the start, and here we go. Colle Pinzuto, and a very tough climb.
I tell you what, he's not waiting at all. He's like throwing himself into these corners. He knows he's in a very good situation. He just has to try and keep the pressure on as much as possible. He knows he's got teammates behind. He's doing a terrific job. Whether he can hold on, it's going to be very difficult, because BMC with Buchwalter and Daniel Os are keeping the pressure on for this chasing group.
Good work from Brent Buchwalter, obviously feeling he had something left in the tank, and a real team player instead of just drifting off behind. Will empty himself. just saves Os for a kilometre or two longer, and Os we saw last year can be really important in this race. He was excellent in the last 20 Ks last time out.
Well, it's all about using your team, and Bookwalter has already been in the front, and if he can help Os and BMC, then he'll try and do it.
Gianluca Brambilla for Etixx Quick-Step, the leader of this race, struggling on the 15% gradient of the penultimate dirt road sector. It's the Colle Pinzuto. It continues to go uphill all the way, even if we get past the worst gradient.
Sagan.
And Sagan behind is having his own go. The world champion making his move. He was waiting, and there he is. And some big names have been left in trouble. Etixx Quick-Step following this one. Fabian Cancellara knows it's an important move. He's third wheel as well. Vakoch left behind. Youngles down there. Vincenzo Nibali towards the back of the group.
Yeah, big effort now from Sagan, and you know, he, after finishing second in the last couple of years, he really wants to win this race. Second in 2014, 2013, but Nibali starting to struggle now in these steep ascents. But back towards the front, Brambilla, who looks behind, going over to the top here. He sees he's got a teammate with him, but the world champion is there, Peter Sagan.
He sees that, and he's probably being told that the difference with the race radios this year, we didn't often see that. This is a Europe Tour race. Now Sagan at the head of the race. He's brought an Etixx Quick-Step rider with him. Now, is that Trentin? Is that Stibar? We'll wait to see. We might get our first look here. Cancellara is the man chasing on. And this could be a really important group with 18.3 kilometres to go. Chasing on in the meantime is Daniel Os. Not too far behind is Tish Benoot. Stibar, the winner last year. And here comes Cancellara. Well, what a group of big-name riders. Stibar, multiple-time world champion in the cyclocross, defending champion here, 2 times winner Fabian Cancellara, and 4 times world champion in the individual time trial. The current world road champion, the man in the rainbow stripes, Peter Sagan, and the man who's been emptying himself all race long, Gianluca Brambilla. It's a fairy tale composition to the group with 18 kilometres to go. Some big names chasing on. Time to be sit back and be entertained, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, when you think of the riders that are now missing out, Valverde, Van Avermaet, because this is a strong group, but you could just see Sagan, who's just waiting for this and pounced up this climb, brought back Brambilla. Brambilla will have to do a lot of work now, because obviously Stibar, you know, there was reports that he was struggling a little. He's sitting down the back of the group, but obviously Stibar starting to look a bit more sprightly. Cancellara, I'm not going to hang about here, but Stibar just allowing Brambilla just a little bit more gap in front. Obviously suffering, but tell you what, this is the chase group. Van Avermaet's in there, Vakoch, Benoot, Nibali, Valverde.
Kwiatkowski's there as well,
Ulisi at the back. So, yeah, this is a very good group, but again, who's going to do the chasing? And everybody's legs are hurting at this moment.
Well, I think they're going to be looking to BMC because they've got 2 riders in there, quite simply. We will have to see. They themselves won't want to empty things. Brambilla still trying to push on. Good work from Etixx Quick-Step, because it means that Stibar can have a bit of a ride here and make Sagan and Cancellara do some work themselves.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, just even sitting in the wheels with these guys, Cancellara and Sagan going, but
it's got to be easier than doing the chasing.
Exactly, but Brambilla's really taking one for the team today, and you know, really hats off to him. He's putting it all out there, and Sagan, Cancellara and Stibar just behind, but it does look as if this group behind, they have to try and get on before this section finishes.
There's a bit of a downhill once we get the 2 sectors out the way back into the base of Siena itself. One of the sectors is done now. We're very, very close towards the end of the penultimate sector, Colle Pinzuto. Brambilla looking behind, doing a job at the minute, making sure that he gets his own brief respite. Cancellara takes up the work at the front. He'll be super motivated here, as Jungels is the most identifiable man in this group. Lars Petter Nordhaug towards the back.
I think this is a second group in the road. You got the 4 in front. This is a second group, and that was the third group we noted. So The chasing group does comprise of Valverde and Kwiatkowski and also Thies Benoot. Vakoc goes to the front, just kind of slows things down a little bit. He's got 2 teammates in front, and then straight up the inside comes Daniel Wass.
Astana rider could be full song there.
They're coming back together, so the second group that we just caught sight of is coming back, but just as we see that, we see a big acceleration from Nibali. Or is it
full song? It could well be full song. I can't see the Italian stripes on the back there. 16 kilometres to go. Nibali, he looked like a broken man when we got to the 15% gradient there. He just snapped and was suddenly out of it. Now Brambilla for the first time off the back of this group. It can be expected as the dirt roads are done. Maybe some sort of recovery time here, and one last empty of the tank if he can find it for his teammate a little further on. So back onto the road. You can tell it's been raining a little more here towards Siena again. Thankfully, the expected torrential downpour hasn't materialised today, but the wind has played a huge part.
Well, only 2 kilometres respite now, because the next section comes at 13.3 to go. So only
and it's the final section.
Yep.
Le Tolfe, it's just 1.1 kilometre in distance. The final test off-road. It goes both up and downhill. And if you didn't like the 15% gradient on the last one, as it is Jakob Fuglsang chasing with Vakoc on his wheel, it's an 18% gradient for Le Tolfe. Tough on already tired legs. No organisation behind. Peter Sagan in his rainbow jersey waiting. Can he live up to Lizzie Armitstead? He failed to do that at Omloop at Nieuwsblad last week when Lizzie Armitstead won the women's race in the rainbow jersey. Sagan only able to finish second. She's done it again here, the first day of the Women's World Tour. Pressure on Peter Sagan to keep up the rainbow dominance.
And pressure on Ethics with 2 riders in the front, and last year's winner, Stibar, who has been struggling a wee bit, but sometimes that happens in races. You can go into a race like this and kind of struggle and then feel good towards the end. What we do know about Stibar is he's a very hard trainer. In fact, sometimes trains too hard at times, so he might have felt maybe a little bit dead earlier on today, but it looks as if he's on good form now.
So Zdeněk Štibar was ready for this. It might be cold, but he's skin suited up. Peter Sagan still there, third wheel with the rainbow stripes as Cancellara puts in a bit of an acceleration, and Cancellara's pulling away for the minute. Big attack. It's a man who's already won twice this year on the road. Brilliant in Mallorca. He's been training so hard over the winters. You'll see on our Follow Fabian series. 16 seconds on the next chase group, and it's already attack after attack after attack. And the first test of all those who are accompanying him in this quartet.
Yeah, but just see who was one of the first to react now. You can just see as it happens now, Sagan is on the wheel, loses it ever so slightly. Stibar has to accelerate, and any questions around Stibar, and if he's on form, that answers it, because he was straight on to Cancellara, equalled him. You know, looking at Sagan, he might come up a little bit short, but just look as if Cancellara doesn't want to leave this to the last final climb. He wants to try and take it on his own.
Nibali's back in the group, and it looks as though he might be working for his teammate Fuglsang here, doing a bit of the chasing at the front.
Well, just look who, there's no real numbers in this group. Astana have to take it on. Kwiatkowski's on his own. You can see Buchwalter still in there, sitting in third place. So he's on a good ride today. Vakoc, Van Avermaet.
Benoot's on the left-hand side in the red as well.
Is that Nordhog is still there? Benoot, as you say, Fuglsang towards the back. Elise still in there for Lampre. But, you know, with these riders in front, who's left to chase? Is that Gatto towards the back? And Oss is there. So BMC, really, if they want to win this race, have to commit now. They can't sit back and wait. They have to commit now.
Pardon me, Valverde right at the back there with Youngles. Nibali really working here. I think it was clear as we got a first shot of Siena. Cathedral on the right hand side with the striped tower. Beautiful place. Words cannot do it justice. Neither can these TV images, to be fair. If you ever get the chance, make sure you visit. It is one of the most stunning towns I've ever been to in my life. UNESCO World Heritage Site, medieval town. and its summer paleo event is the highlight of the year. Because the Romans have been here, the Medici who set up camp down the road in Florence as well. No shortage of big monuments, and although it's a grey day today, lots of clear sunny days. Sagan then at the front, and we're going on to the final sector of dirt road, Les Tolfes, for just over a kilometre. It's descent first, and then that 18% gradient up towards the end. Launch pad for another attack, Brian?
I think Cancellara has to try and do something. You know, his big worry is about bringing Sagan, and he's come to the front now. Probably he wants to try yet again to try and distance, but this group is not that far behind. No. Still led by BMC. BMC have got 3 in this group, with Buchwalter, who's been in a previous break. They've got Oss and you know, a potential winner here, so they've got everything to play for. Jungels,
Vakoc, Fulsang, Trentin, Nibali, Van Avermaet all chasing at 19 seconds behind at the moment. 4 riders still at the front. Also in the chase group, Nordhaug, Benoot, Oss, Buchwalter, Ulissi and Valverde, all candidates for the win, as we are 12.3 kilometres from Siena, where a former winner, Kwiatkowski, also alongside McCarthy, who's won a stage of the Tour Down Under this year. World champion at the front with the rainbow stripes, Peter Sagan there. On the right-hand side, in the white and black of the Trek Segafredo team, Fabian Cancellara, already a winner this year in Mallorca, already a winner of a time trial, beating Tony Martin early on in the season as well. That was in the Algarve. He's starting another season. It's his final season, and from all that time behind as a Mapei stagiaire, he's at the front as Vincenzo Nibali goes out the back. He will no longer be a factor here. It's Sagan, Cancellara, with Stibar, the former winner, and Brambilla still hanging on. Just 13 seconds now, and it could all come back together.
Yeah, you can just see Cancellara and Stibar grimacing. Sagan, he's such a classy bike rider, but Brambilla's hanging in there in the back.
Look at the teeth gritted on just about every face. Sagan looking really good as he comes towards the end. The Colombian fans, the Italian fans, all doing their best to try and cheer Vincenzo Nibali on. Just in front of him is Daniel Oss. Brent Buchwalter is there as well. Thankfully for BMC, if you're a BMC fan, you'll be happy that Van Avermaet is up towards the front of the group.
Yeah, the thing is, Van Avermaet's on his own. It looks as if Team Sky's Kwiatkowski, but look at the power of this man, keeping the pressure on. Brambilla trying to hang on in the back. He needs to hang on as much as possible, because it gives Ethics 2 riders, as we see Van Avermaet pretty much on his own. I think too late now, 4 strong riders in front. I don't think it's going to be his day today.
Well, we're off the Sterrato, 11.6 kilometres to go. Fulsang is chasing on behind Greg Van Avermaet. Dropped are Nibali, Buchwalter and Oss just in front of them. Looks as though it is the former world champion Michał Kwiatkowski. It is riding for Sky. Won this when he was the Polish champion.
2014 he won this version, and that day Sagan and Valverde were second and third, but this is the group splits, and you know, Van Avermaet has left it too late. He's got 2 teammates here. He has to do it all alone, but looks as if he was about to be joined by Fulsang and maybe 2 or 3 others. But I think with the strength of Sagan, Cancellara and Stibar and Brambilla, who's ridden tremendous today, and it's important that he stays with this group, because it does give them options in the final.
Siena waits for us. Piazza il Campo, the palio, the symbol of Siena. 17 city districts, they all compete here. Wonderful spectacle. It's also one of the tourist centres of Italy as well, the Piazza del Campo. The left-hand side, talking of unique shows, we're about to have one on the road. Cancellara takes it up at the front, still in the white, 66 wins in his career now. 7 Tour de France stages. He's worn the yellow jersey on 29 occasions in the Tour, and he's already won this race on 2 occasions too. On the left-hand side, you can see just as the road gets harder, he starts to struggle and swings side to side on the bike. It's every rider for themselves.
Tell you what, this group is not that far. Valverde making a big effort here. Vakoc is there, Fulsang, Benoot. They're not that far behind, I would say about 15-20 seconds. So, tell you what, these riders in the front of Sagan, Cancellara, Stibar and Brambilla really have to keep the pressure on.
Well, this is the 3rd group on the road at the moment, just over 10 kilometres to the finish line in Piazza del Campo in Siena.
an attack off here, and I think is that Strade going on the attack, but we pan out here, and this is the
chase group,
the
just
chase
behind
group with
Van Avermaet.
Yeah, Van Avermaet in here. So an attack there by Strade, so they're starting to play the game. They're not going to hang about. Maybe Strade isn't feeling as good. Maybe he doesn't want to bring Sagan into the finish. So Ethics looks as if they want to maybe try the 1-2. I'm thinking Brambilla is the back. If they don't come back from the group behind, Brambilla is the key here. Brambilla properly to go and launch the attack, where Strade try and follows the other two.
10 kilometres remain in the 10th edition of Strade Bianche, on our way to the famous city of Siena. Just under 10 k's to go. The race situation at the moment with 4 riders out in front. Strade leading it. A few bike lengths behind we have Cancellara, Sagan and Brambilla. 2 Ethics Quick-Step riders there, but as we know from Omloped Newsblad last year, it's not necessarily a guarantee of them taking victory with numbers up the front.
Well, the thing about this in the run-in now is kind of cross-tail wind, so it's going to be a fast run-in towards the finish. This is the next group on the road, the second group, with Van Avermaet, Valverde, Fuglsang, Vakoc, Ulysse, Binut, and one of the Sky Riders, I think,
it's
not out.
Peter Nordhaug, yep. Because Kwiatkowski's in the next group behind. That's the third group on the road. Van Avermaet's the man in the red and black if you're looking for him. Valverde has the green helmet on, the man they call the Green Bullet, Valverde. Just behind them, you have the white jersey. That's the Czech champions jersey, in fact, of Petr Vakoc. You can see the other colours of blue and red of the jersey a little further down. In the turquoise jersey of Astana, you've got the Dane Jakob Fuglsang. The 2 blues of Ethics Quick-Step still up the front. Strade having a quick chat with Brambilla. And then Sagan, second wheel in the rainbow stripes, takes it up at the front. In the meantime, Cancellara trying to shame the Ethics Quick-Step riders into doing some work.
Yep.
He's good at playing politics, isn't he, Fabian? That's one of his great strengths.
They need to keep right. They're not that far behind, and 8.5 kilometres to go, and it's kind of lumpy all the way in towards the finish, and then you get that hard climb up to the finishing line. But I think Brambilla, he must be suffering at the back now, but there's a big effort still in him. And I think at some stage Brambilla has to really commit himself and try and launch something.
Fuglsang launching an attack, and it's going to be chased by Diego Ulysse behind. Ulysse in the fuchsia pink and navy blue of Lampre Merida, still looking for their first win. Only one of 2 World Tour teams yet to win in 2016. Sagan is the man in the rainbow stripes. Started his season in Argentina, still yet to win as the world champion. 8 wins last year, won Vuelta stage, the headline of that really. GC success in California as well, remember. Also got married, did a Greece video. There wasn't much he didn't do in 2015 actually. Won the world championship. Benoit at the front on the chase, and this is a man who has to be watched like a hawk.
Still about 20 seconds. They're not really helping each other. They're kind of looking at each other. Just in front you can see the 4-man group, but you know, some of these legs are burning already. But when they start attacking each other instead of kind of trying to help each other, obviously Vakoc is not going to do something, but these 4 riders in front look a bit more organised than the group of about 8 behind, and if they keep on attacking each other, they won't come across on their own. So it looks as if at this stage it could be down to these 4 riders.
Attack, and it's Brambilla to have a go with 7.7 kilometres remaining. Brilliantly done it at the minute. It hasn't drawn Fabian Cancellara to chase. It hasn't drawn the World Championship jersey out in pursuit either. And it's Brambilla who gets the egg on from the spectator on the side of the road, who goes out in front. Now this really would be something special.
Well, this is perfect, and that's what we're talking about. He has to launch and give Strade a bit more of a free ride, but they have to be really careful. If they start looking at each other, Sagan and Cancellara, the group behind with Van Avermaet is not that far behind.
Well, also Cancellara, it's his last Strade Bianche. Surely he's not going to leave anything on the road. He has to give it his all here. This was the attack again, perfectly positioned from the back. Yeah,
you could see that it was going to happen, and you know, this is the card that they're going to play. Brambilla has been in the break, sacrificing his own efforts, found himself in a good position, missed a couple of turns and gone on the attack. Tried to give an easier ride, but he's been brought back. Cancellara has actually brought him back, and now Esteban trying to come across with Sagan. So all action still, and still this group behind of Van Avermaet not that far.
Well, it's hard. You want to watch two groups at the same time because anything can happen behind. The minute you turn your eye, we just had a brief look at the second group. Cancellara was so quick to close that gap. He is extremely motivated. Now, this is the descent right to the base of Siena, which, if you've never been, just sits on a hill. It's a hill at every single side. The way it was built, of course, they could watch invaders coming across the hills. And the way it is built, the old city at the top of that hill that you can see, it's a very, very steep climb in the last kilometre up to the finish.
See, these guys are racing in front. It doesn't look as if the second group in the road are kind of helping each other at all. Too many kind of favourites or big names watching each other, attacking each other. So it does look as if with only 16 seconds, 6 kilometres to go, that these riders can't hang about, but Cancellara looks strong. Is he going to be able to beat Peter Sagan? I'm not too sure he will. Will Esteban do what he did last year? But all this time, Brambilla is taking another one for the team. He knows he can. He knows he's going to get 4th out of 4, so he just has to keep on trying as much as possible and give Esteban an easier ride in the last few kilometres.
Brilliant, brilliant ride from Gianluca Brambilla. He's taken the earpiece out of his ear right now. He's riding to heart. He's riding with his mind. He's in conversation with his teammate all the time, every time they've been in that group. Just less than 6 kilometres to go. The road really does start to go uphill again before a brief descent and that final 16% gradient to the line. Remember, we talked about Fabian Cancellara. Wonder how he would do in the sprint. Remember, last time he won Paris-Roubaix, we're all saying no, he can't out-sprint all this lot. He certainly could. He has a surprising sprint, certainly at this early part of the season. And Sagan, well, hasn't got the knack of winning at the minute. We shall see. Five and a half kilometres remain. Gianluca Brambilla for the umpteenth time attacking, for the umpteenth time with somewhat of a gap. Can they catch him again? He's tired. He's been working all day long. He has a teammate in the group behind, and he's playing the perfect tactical card for the defending champion Zdeněk Štýbar at the moment. And Štýbar needs all the help he can get because he has the world champion on his wheel, Peter Sagan. He has Fabian Cancellara, the 2-time winner, a man who's already won on 2 occasions this year and who is retiring this year. And behind, all this lot chasing as well. Diego Lisi in the pink, Benoit behind in the red. Czech champion is Petr Vakoč, 2 times a winner of races in France last week. Alejandro Valverde is there as well, as is Fulsang, Lars Peder Nordhaug and Greg van Avermaet. It's a stellar field at the front of Strade Bianche. Brian, who's going to win?
Good question. One of the 3 riders behind this man. I would love to see, if there was a most aggressive rider in this race, it would be him. Definitely Brambilla. He's really, you know, taking it on from the front.
So aggressive, he almost went up the wrong road there.
So many riders have done exactly that. But he's going to tie up when he comes into Siena and up this final climb. It's going to be between...
Ja, voor Štýbar is het natuurlijk ideaal.
Gaat hij zichzelf opvolgen?
But it's easier said than done, because at the end of the day, you know, their legs are burning. You know, they're thinking about trying to save that wee bit, but they're not going to be able to finish in the first 3 today if they don't bring Sagan, Štýbar and Cancellara back.
We have Sagan and Cancellara chasing on. Cancellara winner twice from Mallorca and the Algarve.
See, at this stage, you just say, look, Vakoč, just leave him at the back. We'll do just a turn each, help each other, try and come back to the race. But they seem to be too, interested in each other. This gap to Brambilla is still only about 10 seconds. Cancellara and Sagan have to commit themselves. But Štýbar is a very good position now. It's been a great team effort by Ethics Quick Step today.
It has been superb. Remember, they only had one decent placing last weekend on opening weekend in Belgium. That was Łukasz Wisniewski, who finished 5th in Kuurne-Brussel-Kuurne. Sagan had 2 top 10s himself at the weekend. He was 2nd in Omloop at Nieuwsblad. He was 7th in Kuurne. As for Fabian Cancellara, we know it's his style, isn't it? He always sits out opening weekend, watches it at home on the television, has a conversation with his sports director, Dirk de Mol, whilst he's watching Omloop Nieuwsblad and Kuurne Brussel Kuurne. He's racing this weekend though, and he's looking in mighty fine form.
Very good form, and you know, Sagan also in good form. As you said already, he rode well the weekend or last weekend in Belgium, but they've got to catch this man first. And he's been the man of the race for me today, and just hanging on to a very slender advantage. It kind of goes slightly level, kind of downhill, all they win before they turn left, and then they go up this brute of a climb. But Cancellara and Sagan, what are they thinking at the moment? Cancellara will be thinking, well, how can I beat the world champion? Because in this type of finish, from what we've seen, Sagan looks as if he could be favourite, but don't discount Stybar. And Stybar just sitting on the wheel at the moment with his teammate in front. He's got every right to do so.
Well, Gianluca Brambilla, he's ridden so hard today that it almost makes me to think that he's the man who provoked the earthquake we had last night. A 3.4 on the Richter scale earthquake around the province of Siena yesterday evening. Maybe he was on his turbo trainer in the hotel room just warming up for this. He's been so strong today as Gianluca Brambilla. In the meantime, third group on the road now, making sure they give it their all just to try and be involved.
I'm not too sure all of them are giving their all. They're more interested, as I said before, looking at each other rather than kind of helping each other. It's one of these things where, you know, you have to communicate and say, come on, you know, we're riding for fourth place at the moment if we, you know, we don't help each other. But they've been attacking each other. The thing is, these guys don't have the legs to go with the legs of Sagan, Cancellara and Stybar.
2 kilometres to go. Cancellara starting to worry a little, starting to really chase it down. The gap has grown. 8 seconds now for Gianluca Brambilla. The problem for Brambilla is, if he really is running almost on empty, when he gets to that big gradient of 16%, that huge climb, there's a danger it could just blow up, isn't there?
Yeah, there is a big danger. Ulisi now coming towards the front. One of the local riders that we kind of pinpointed it could have an outside chance. He was in a group of on his own for Lampre, no other teammates. But Van Avermaet never had the legs to go with the riders in front. So it's going to be between Cancellara, Stybar and Sagan. But they've got to get this man back. 1.5 to go, and he's really giving it 100%. Is he going to blow up on the climb? I think he is, because if he hits this climb, he's going to really need at least about 30 seconds. He's not going to have that, because it goes left here, starts to rise ever so gently, but then it really kicks up severely.
Yep, it's all uphill towards the finish line now. Cancellara chasing 8 seconds behind. He's the man in the white and black. 1.4 kilometres to go. In the middle you have the world champion Peter Sagan. At the back, naturally, because his teammates out in front, you have the defending champion Zdeněk Stybar. Are they going to just wait for Brambilla to crack, or are they going to make a positive move before we get to the final kilometre here? 8 seconds is the split time. This is the man in the race lead, Gianluca Brambilla. He's an Italian. He's not a Tuscan. He's from Belluno in the north of Italy. He is on the form of his life right now, taking a win in Mallorca in a really hard race down to Andratx at the start of the year. And he is riding away. 8 seconds. Last kilometre.
The thing is, Cancellara's won this race. Stybar's won this race. Sagan's second twice in this race. See the last kilometre coming up now, so
they all know what's coming.
Can it be fate? Can we see the world champion win both the women's and men's events here? It's going to be very difficult to call, because Stybar, look at what he did last year. Cancellara looks strong, and he's a very intelligent rider, but it's going to be a very difficult call. But I would probably sway with Sagan taking the win here today.
It gets hard, it starts to really go uphill, but Brambilla still going, and everybody encouraging him. He's through the gates, he's into the city of Siena, and he's on those paved stones that lead right up to the final straight to the line. Still going somehow, Gianluca Brambilla, who has attacked so many times we've forgotten in this race. Cancellara at the moment leading them up, with Sagan waiting behind. And remember, already one rainbow jersey victory today. That was Lizzie Armitstead in the first ever Women's World Tour race. Here's the climb, here's the big gradient, 16% now for Gianluca Brambilla. Fans riding and lining the road all the way up. This is hard, and this is the biggest test of the day for a man who's passed just about every single exam that they've thrown at him since the start of the day. Over 4.5 hours riding. It's been windy, it's been miserable, we've had rain at times, and Brambilla's still going. Listen to the noise, Brian.
I tell you what, he's hanging in here. He's no reaction from behind, absolutely no reaction. Cancellara, Sagan and Stibar. He only has to get up just as far as the eye can see, and then it goes right and it eases off a little bit. What a tremendous ride this is from this young man.
Well, Ethics Quickstep, this is their race. Stibar's not going to chase. He's so close to the top here, and he's still hanging on. Brambilla, now 350 metres to go as Cancellara wakes up and thinks that he has to make his move. Cancellara's there, but following him all the way is Stibar just in case. Ethics Quickstep primed to do the business here, losing contact to the Peter Sagan, the world champion. Oh, this could be heartbreak. This could be real problems towards the end for Brambilla, who's going to be caught by Cancellara, caught by Stibar. Sagan is out of the running, I think. It's Cancellara against Stibar. 250 metres to go. What an epic day, a huge day at Strade Bianche. Cancellara looking for his third win. Stibar looking to defend the title. Sprint to the last, and we really haven't had this before. Cancellara then 100 metres to go. It's downhill. Piazza del Campo awaits. Cancellara is there, and it is going to be Fabian Cancellara. Fantastic. Number 3 of the season. Number 3 in this race for him. And Fabian Cancellara wins. The Ethics Quickstep dominance is broken, and it is a fairy tale for Fabian. Wow. Final race at Strade Bianche. It was his, it had to be his. Cancellara with win number 67 of his career. That coach comes across the line, no win for him this weekend. Van Avermaet was up there as well. Diego Lisi is going to be Lampre's best finisher with Benoot and Lars Petter Nordhaug up there.